We're back with Eric Idle. This is a fantastic book about the creative process. You know, this was obviously a very beloved movie. I remember when I first heard it was becoming a musical, that seemed outlandish to me. But you kept a diary, and you had almost forgotten that you had written this, and you recently found it.
Not almost, I completely forgot.
Okay.
Yes. No, I mean, and a couple of years ago, my wife and I were moving out of our large house to a smaller house. We call it Downsize Abbey.
Okay.
And it's a process that happens as you age, you know. The kids have all gone, you know. So, and I found this diary that I kept at the time in 2004 and in 2005, and it was about, I was writing it during the time we were creating, you know, rehearsing and putting Spamalot together. And the thing about it is I didn't know it was going to be a hit. Who knew it was going to be a hit?
Yeah.
So it's got all the anxiety and the tensions and...
I remember seeing it on Broadway with my family. It was, I think, what a lot of people got out of the show, which is they loved the movie, and it was not just beat for beat. It was this wonderful reimagining. It was a totally different experience, but you also, if you loved the movie, you would love the show. Mike Nichols directed it, who obviously a legendary... comedic voice. Did you know Mike before you had started it?
I knew Mike for 15 years before I started. We were friends, and we went on holidays together. In fact, we were in the south of France once, and we were going past an art gallery, and he leaned in and he said, "How much is that Dali in the window?" And he'd do that to make me collapse, you know, because he was really funny. He was a comedian.
He was a comedian, but he was also, I mean, you write about this in the book. In the creative process, he could also be, he was opinionated, he could be a little brusque. Were you surprised by your working relationship with him after 15 years of friendship?
We had a big fight. Yeah. It was extraordinary because we were good friends, but just because you're good friends doesn't mean you're going to work together well. And we had an argument and a row, and it was great because he said, "Well, I'm the director," and I said, "Well, I'm the writer." Yeah. And in the theatre, that means something. You know, in films, it means nothing at all. Yeah. You know? It means you're next in line.
Yeah, security grabs the writer and just like throw it.
Next, please, yeah. But in the theatre, so we established what we cared about very strongly, and that made it possible for us to work together. And I kept it in the book because I thought it was very important that people understand that the process can be you can be arguing and fighting very strongly, but you can actually carry on and make things together.
It's definitely true. I think that ultimately, like, if you don't collaborate with someone you trust enough to tell you when you're wrong, you can't get much out of a collaboration.
We would fight all the time in Python. People say, "That's not a funny chair. This is a funny chair."
Yeah.
Funny chair, you know, like... So, I mean, if you don't care, then it's not important to you.
Right.
So I think it was good. It was good to do that.
Did you? At what point in the process was it not until opening night that you realized it was going to work?
Opening night, we opened in Chicago, so we did testing, and the first time the first audience came to it was scary. We thought, "Oh my gosh!" And then they just went, "Yes!" and they laughed and laughed, and it was great.
Once it worked in Chicago, were you just sort of chomping at the bit to get it to New York City and get it on Broadway?
No, I mean, we were booked. We were sold out in Chicago.
Yeah.
The whole thing, because the cast was so great.
It was an amazing cast.
And Mike still made cuts. He cut the thing called the Cow song. There was a song, "I'm Just a Lonely Cow Who Has a Dream," sung by Sada Ramirez. Not many musicals the Cow has a song, you know.
Seems like you may be still a little bummed about the Cow song being
a little bit. But no, he was quite right. I mean, it was wrong, because it stopped. The Cow was then thrown out and landed on Patsy and squashed him. But they didn't laugh when she'd sung a song beforehand.
Yeah.
Because now we knew who the Cow was.
Yeah, that's a good point.
We identified with the Cow.
Yeah.
You know?
Don't make people like the Cow before you catapult the Cow.
Yeah.
That's the first rule of comedy. Never let them get to know the Cow. Your daughter, and I always say, it's literally my favorite movie. When my dad brought Holy Grail home, I remember I was sick one day. He went to the video store, he brought it, we watched it together. It's one of the great, comedy moments of my life. Laughing at the opening credits with my dad. And it was that shared thing that I think is so important. But your daughter does not love the ending to Holy Grail.
No, she said to me at about the age 8, "Dad, that ending's crap."
Yeah.
You know, and she's right, actually, because what happens is the police just come in and arrest it and stop the film.
Yeah.
And she says, "That's it?" You know, So I knew we had to get a better ending for the musical.
Yes, and the ending, and I will say, even when I watched it with my dad, I mean, you know, shout out to your daughter, I also was like, what?
Yeah.
Especially because there's no movie with funnier opening credits, and then the end is like, huh.
We actually ran out of money.
Is that really it?
Yes, of course. It was simple.
that really
No,
it?
it's true, yeah.
And then what? Did you also run out of bands to go ask?
We were filming in Scotland, and the whole thing was set up for this huge battle scene. And we'd done everything we could. We shot the feet and the hands, but we couldn't afford a battle. So we said, oh, we'll have the police arrest it. And then they came in and arrested it, and that was it.
Really? It was literally just came down to we are out of money.
Absolutely.
Who would tell you were out of money?
Well, everybody.
That's good. I guess that's how you get the message through that everybody tells you. Thank you so much for being here, Eric. What a delight to talk to you.
Thank you very much.
Spamalot Diaries out now. We'll be right back, everybody.